All right, welcome back, everybody. Week 4 NFL is in the books. We had some good ones. We had some blowouts. We had a lot of great moments. We're going to go through that today. PG, what'd you think of the games this week?
I enjoyed them. Had a couple OT games, which are cool. My picks were all terrible. It was a good weekend of football, though. Overall, I'm very excited, very happy.
We had a lot of good coaching, a lot of bad coaching, and most importantly, a lot of aggressive coaching. So we got a lot of people waiting in the wings for that Tanakh Award we're going to hand out later on today. That's of course for the biggest stones demonstrated this week. Who had some balls? Who got it done? We're going to go through some of these awards real quick right now that we're looking to hand out later on. That way we can identify some of the nominees along the way. Got the Randy Marsh Award, biggest turd laid down. Got the Cooler Award for the biggest hero, the number one moment, the rip your throat out sort of moment. My bad, bro. Hey, we missed a few of them, right? We're going to go through that. We'll get the forks out. We'll go ahead and eat those. And then we got the other side of that. You're welcome. We hit a few too. So we'll get those. Got the Tanakh Award for the biggest stones. And my personal favorite, the Applesauce Award for biggest hit. And the Reading Potter Award for biggest shit talk. For those of you not familiar with the Reading Potter Award, that, of course, stems from our good friend 50 Cent and his legendary, absolutely legendary taunt of Floyd Mayweather and his inability to read.
What was the claim? He said he would give him like $50 million or something if he could read one page out of the source.
Yeah, he said he'd give him $500,000 if he could read a page out of Harry Potter. And
no response.
Spoiler alert, 50 still got that money sitting in escrow somewhere because Floyd hadn't collected on that yet.
Damn.
But let's go ahead. Let's get going. Let's start rolling through these games here. We're going to get started let's just start with the Bengals and the Falcons. That was a heck of a game. Loved every minute of it. A lot of people on the over there. If you were one of those people like me, you're feeling pretty good. You're feeling pretty good about the end of the first quarter that we were going to hit that. Bengals 37, Falcons 36. Hey, good Andy showed up today.
337 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. It's kind of crazy seeing the Falcons 1-3 with Matt Ryan, 420 yards, 3 touchdowns. But you can't deny the elephant in the room. Dalton to AJ Green. That never gets old. I don't know how defenses just let that slip by every time. They should be double teaming AJ Green every single play.
That was a real shit show there at the end. I don't know how you let the best receiver on their team go untouched and just work his way in the end zone for a winning catch. But hey, that's the way it goes. Falcons are missing their top 2 safeties. Defense is in tatters. They've been particularly terrible in the fourth quarter. You can't blame this one on Matt Ryan and Steve Sarkisian, though. So they're going to steer clear of this, hey, we can't score a touchdown thing. But, of course, the big moment in this game, gruesome. We had talking about PG, we had a Paul George moment. Tyler Eifert sending that ankle at a 90-degree split. And I don't think we're going to see him the rest of the year.
Yeah, he went a full Gordon Hayward on that one. And that shit, I don't do broken bones. And that shit was broken. That shit looked broken. So,
you don't have to be an orthopedic surgeon to call that one out. That's not like spotting a collarbone from 3 states away. You don't need to have a keen eye for that. It's, oh, hey, look, that dude's foot is sideways. So, I mean, best of luck to Tyler and his recovery. He's had a lot of tough issues with injuries over the years.
Yeah, that's what they keep saying. They need to put like a nursing home for all these guys. They don't have to pay a dime. They're on like NFL Medicaid. They just live in these nursing homes, and the NFL just pays for all of their services and their orthopedic care because these guys put their bodies on the line, their health on the line.
I get paid millions of dollars to do that too. So I guess that kind of evens out at the end of the day.
But you can't put a price on your body and your health, you know what I mean? But needless to say, that was pretty gruesome. I actually think that
you can. They're doing that every day. It's, hey, if I gave you this amount of money, would you let that guy smash into you for the next 60 minutes? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would do that. We've all got our price. We know what these guys' price is, but at the end of the day, best of luck to Tyler Eifert and his recovery. I don't mind seeing people get knocked the hell out, or I don't mind big hits, but I don't like watching people's bones getting broken in 9 different places. But the good news about that, those things usually heal up. Everybody we've seen that happen to so far has made their way back. Put those elk ligaments in there and get him back on the field.
Yeah, just give him a couple months to rehab. He'll be fine as long as he's not in one of those contract years where he has to I don't know what his contract situation is, but
like Earl
hopefully.
Thomas is, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Earl not happy about what's going on. He's kind of his nightmare scenario playing out.
Yeah, you're going to see more Le'Veon Bell situations just based on what happened to Earl Thomas. So Earl Thomas, we'll get to you next.
We'll get to you soon enough. Bengals 3-1. Hey, they're looking good. They're sitting pretty. I got on the Bengals train late in the preseason, but I like to say I hopped on that thing early enough to say I was there. I was there before this happened.
Are you giving a "You're Welcome" award on that?
Not yet. Not yet. I got a couple of those. One of those, of course, revolves around Ryan Tannehill because, hey, we all saw that one coming. Low and uncatchable.
Low and uncatchable. But before we get there, let's talk about another Florida team, Jaguars, Jets. Jaguars took the win, 2-1. Jets 1-2. Pretty standard game. We knew the Jaguars were going to come in swinging, and their defense held Sam Darnold to a measly 167 yards, 1 touchdown. Pressure the entire day. Couldn't get comfortable. It was more so a Jaguars defensive win because Blake Bortles, even though those numbers were padded, I think anybody in the center would be able to put up these type of numbers too.
Yeah, it was just a classic Jags game. There was no way the Jets were going to move the ball on them. They've been playing tough D. I mean, they only gave up 9 points last week. They're all over Darnold all day. He's looking like a rookie. Jets fans, hey, welcome back to your comfort zone, everyone. You're getting the shit kicked out of you again. The Patriots are back in line. The world's been set right for all the New York Jets fans in the world.
Agreed.
So
I don't really know what else to say about the Jaguars and Jets game other than Jaguars D looking solid. But let's move on. Let's talk about a game, Eagles-Titans.
Eagles-Titans.
Talk to me about Eagles-Titans.
So Titans moved to 3-1 with the win here, 26-23 in overtime. Here we go. So we got two guys that did the exact same thing today. They're both going to be up for the Tanaka Award for the stones that they showed. And of course, one of those guys is Mad Mike Vrabel. So overtime, he makes a decision that he's going to go for it, that he's not going to settle for a field goal. Mariota makes the play, and then, hey, we got a nominee for the Cooler Award here. Mariota at the end to Davis for the touchdown. That was a hell of a play. Eagles are 2-2, and a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover in Philadelphia.
Agreed. I mean, you Carson Wentz sophomore year, I really was expecting a slow year, but I didn't realize the Eagles defense was going to be messing up that much. If you're letting Mariota put up 300-plus yards and 2 touchdowns, that's a problem. Mariota is not a good quarterback, at least not yet. But you can't be letting Mariota put up 300-plus yards on you.
You can't let him get under your skin like that. I don't want to start a controversy here amongst our, large and ever-improving fan base, particularly our friends out in Sweden. Hello, everyone out in Sweden. Thanks so much for listening. Our goal is to become at least like the top 15 American sports podcasts listened to in Sweden, and we are rocketing our way right up that list as we speak. But
we love IKEA. With that being said, we're big IKEA fans.
Love it. Everything about what you guys got going on. Love it. Spread the word, everyone in Sweden. Let's fire up this thing. Anyhow, talking about the Eagles again. I don't want to start a controversy here amongst these listeners, but really like a 99.9% chance that the Eagles win this game if Foles is playing. Let's just be real about that. The guy's a winner.
That's a bold statement.
Gets it done. Oh, yeah. Pretty bold statement saying that the Super Bowl MVP would be able to beat the Titans. But
I think week 1 against the Falcons, his QBR rating might have been like 18. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his QBR was like 18.
I think that's pretty good. I'm not familiar with the range on those statistics, but I think that's True. Actually like a top percentile as far as
right. And the Falcons are notorious for having a very strong defense that don't screw up in the fourth quarter as well.
They're suffocating. They're absolutely suffocating.
For the
Just
fans.
Like everybody at the end of the Titans-Colts game. Oh man. Everybody's losing their breath as these Colts, as the Colts and Texans are dueling it out to see who can not win the game.
Yeah, that was I don't really give out a lot of awards because I'm stupid. I don't know shit about football, but I'm gonna have to give out an award today, and one of the top nominees today is for my Cloud Atlas Award, which means it's given to the man or woman or team or game, which
or Foxy Can. We don't. That's transphobic right there. So we don't want to. We want to be more inclusive than that. It's 2018. Right. It's like Foxy.
Not just man or woman, also lizard people as well. Yeah. It's something that just kind of leaves me sitting on the couch, confused, scratching my head, needing somebody like to explain what the fuck is going on. And that entire game had me confused from the beginning to the end. And the classic quintessential AFC South call 4th and 4 on your own 43, 27 seconds in OT. What do you do?
I'm doing it. Okay, so here's the thing. And I'm going to get on one of these coaches' sides, and I'm going to jump on the opposite side of the other coach. Now, surprise, surprise. The update coming for Billy O'Brien here at the end of this. But what the fuck is he doing not calling a timeout at the end of that thing? I get it. It ends up working out because because Frank Reich decides he's going to go for it on 4th down. And Frank Reich, I don't give a shit. I'm for it. Thank you for doing that. Everybody needs to have some stones, like Reich had some stones to go for that. People are shitting on him. Vrabel did the exact same fucking thing, and everyone thinks that he's a fearless genius. It works out or it doesn't, but every time, if I'm a Colts fan, I want to see Frank keep going for that.
Yeah, but you guys had the Colts were putting so much pressure on Deshaun Watson that all they had, you can't.
There's no way for them to win the game if they kick the ball there. They can't win it. It's like, I'll settle for the tie, and I'm going to be happy with that? No.
Well, so you're saying going for a tie is the loser's choice. But if you're a winner deep down inside, you make the right play call, which means Andrew Luck throwing the ball.
The tie is what they call that. What are those people on the internet, like that snowflake cuck move? That's what you're doing if you're punting there. All right, show some balls. Take the heat if it doesn't work out. I mean, we all remember, what was that, probably 10 years ago at this point, when Belichick went for that 4th down in Indianapolis. It was 4th and 2. They ran a 1.5-yard out route, got stuffed. Peyton came down there, scored the touchdown, and won. And that happened to be in one of those years where they had the NFL Films crew, and Belichick went in after the game, and he's like, I'm going to do that again. Fuck that. That's how we were going to win. It's you guys' fault for not making the play. And we're going to do it again in that same situation.
Okay. Well, was he wrong? No. Belichick is a genius. So going back to what you're saying, Frank Reich, so you're on his side, but you're completely against Bill O'Brien and his terrible clock management.
He went to the Andy Reid school of clock management, where it's like, just stare at your play sheet and have no fucking idea what's going on in the game. All right?
Two things he did that pissed me off. And you know me, I'm not a Bill O'Brien fan.
Oh, you're not? You've been such a strong supporter.
He was running me. I'm a strong supporter.
You're about as strong of a supporter as Bill O'Brien as I am a Case Keenum.
You're a diehard Case Keenum guy.
Support.
Sure. He's running the ball with no timeouts in the 4th quarter, and then he's running on 2nd down, and they don't even have a fullback on the roster. So their 2nd down runs are just for a loss or for 1 yard in a stacked box. And Deshaun Watson's too stupid to make any adjustments or changes. So you've
been watching a lot of All 22 lately, so what you're talking about.
Exactly. I'm watching this stuff, and it's giving me anxiety. And if somebody who can't read and might be on the spectrum, can figure this out, somebody who's getting paid millions of dollars to make that call on the sidelines with a goddamn Microsoft Surface Pro in his hand should know better. Maybe if it's your first year, you should know, but if it's your 3rd, 4th, or even 5th or 6th year, that's a problem. That's a problem,
Bill. I will say this. Watt's looking good. He looked gassed at the end of that thing. I don't know what's going on with him. He must be working out with Joel Embiid, where you're just getting 3 quarters worth of conditioning, because he looked super. They were panning in on him, just looking gassed. The other thing, if I'm Billy O'Brien at the end of that, he's got a timeout to call at any point in time, whether it's while the Colts are driving down, his defense is gassed, or after that 3rd down, or after that 2nd down. I don't know. I've never been impressed by Billy. And,
Are you putting? So we're talking about JJ Watt. Are you putting JJ Watt in the Hall of Fame, future Hall of Famer?
Oh, of course. I mean, of course, he's a 2-time defensive MVP. He's a monster. He's going to keep stacking up numbers as long as that body holds together. He's a Hall of Famer. I mean, you could see him. He's a Hall of Famer. There's no disputing that for me. Speaking of Hall of Famers, I don't know. What do you think about this Brady guy? You think he belongs in there?
I don't think Brady belongs in there because Brady started off kind of shaky, but I believe Bill Belichick belongs in there because there's no way in hell that a 3-0 Dolphins team led by Adam Gase is going to be able to outsmart Bill Belichick and a full 7 days of study. It ain't going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. Well, here's an interesting thing. It would be cool if they did this. If they said, "All right, you only get a vote for one. Only Belichick or only Brady gets to go into the Hall of Fame. You only get one vote. Only one guy makes it in. You vote Belichick?
Yeah, you gotta go Belichick.
Yeah, me too. I love Bill Belichick. I love him.
I love them both. I love Bill Belichick, and I love Brady screaming on the sidelines. One of the best Brady moments is when he runs up to Gronk and grabs him by the face mask, and you can see his eyeballs popping out. And Gronk is like, "Get him away from me!" You know,
when he does that Jimbo Fisher on him. Did you see Jimbo Fisher doing that?
No.
Oh, you didn't see that? People were freaking out.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, Jimbo Fisher grabbed that guy by the face mask and was screaming at him like a madman.
Yeah, he pretty much pulled a Jimbo Fisher, which everybody's pissed off about. I don't really realize it was that big of a deal. I mean, they're playing football. They're not playing grab ass, you know?
It's football. All right, people, get over it. They're grown men. They're fragile student athletes who were just going to exploit, underpay, manipulate, and do no favors to.
But we will sign this bajillion-dollar contract to the NBC and ABC and Comcast and sell Chick-fil-A sandwiches on TV and make millions of dollars.
Yeah, the real crime's not all the rich white guys sitting up in the booth. Like you're sitting up in the luxury boxes making money hand over fist in the administration of the university. Yeah. No, it's Jimbo out there working his ass off, having a moment, and then just getting a little handsy with somebody. No, that's a real problem, right? Yeah.
Is he a deli meats kind of guy? Is he a deli meats guy?
What do you mean?
Like you see him just scarfing down a bunch of deli meats?
No, I don't see that. I don't see him as a Doug Marrone type. I think he's more of like a, roasted chicken from the supermarket guy. Cut that up with some cherry tomatoes. It's probably his lunch every day. I think that's what Saban does every day. He eats the same lunch so he doesn't have to fucking think about what he has to eat for lunch. One less decision to make.
He's mashed potatoes and gravy and just fried chicken. So I'll eat every single day.
I don't think that's what it is, but anyhow, Patriots 38, Dolphins 7. Quite the whooping there. Here's the other thing about Adam Gase. Have you ever seen the movie Ghost?
Is that the one where the Patrick Swayze's like?
Yeah, it's Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and then some other guy. So Adam Gase looks exactly like some other guy. Whoever that guy is, the bad guy from the movie Ghost. That's what Adam Gase looks like. And every time they pan to him on the sideline, I'm just like, man, that dude killed Patrick Swayze, and now he's trying to take his woman. He's trying to take his woman. And it ain't going to work, buddy. Awesome. Just like the Dolphins trying to finish above 500 is not going to work. Here it comes, Dolphins fans. You've been fucking faking it. I've been calling this on you. I'm going to get up on you. Hey, you're welcome, everybody, for this one. Patriots -7. I was all over that, and now they only covered it by 24. So it was a tight squeeze, and that touchdown at the end, we all see that in the fourth quarter. Your classic pity touchdown. And Tannehill wasn't even on the field for that.
Bullshit touchdown. That was Brock Osweiler touchdown. 100 yards, 1 interception, and they didn't score till the fourth quarter. That's not Tom Brady. And that's why Bill Belichick is going to the Hall of Fame, because that's a Bill Belichick right there.
That was terrible. I mean, the Patriots defense looked slow, disgusting last week. And all they needed was a little get-right game with the Dolphins. They're 2-2. Dolphins still in the lead of the division, but I got a feeling that's going to tighten up real quick. Just like all the buttholes of Bills fans are going to start tightening back up. They circled the wagons last week, got after the Vikings, and my bad, bro. my bad here. I'm gonna paraphrase myself as we're picking through these games, and the Packers are 9.5-point favorites. I said, didn't we just do this last week? No chance. I'm on the Bills.
Yep. I gotta eat that, bro.
I gotta get the fork out. Man, these guys can't. They just can't stop fucking with me. And Josh Allen turned back into Josh Allen. I don't know what his final stats were. We can look that up. I know he only had about 150 yards, but what do you have here on the complete? 16 out of 33. Yeah, that's more what we're used to when it comes to Josh Allen.
Sounds pretty hilarious. And again, this is called the comment section, so I scrounge through the comments and see if any of them make me laugh. Somebody wrote Josh Allen should have retired at halftime, which is a classic Vontae Davis joke, and those never get old.
Bring back Vontae. Put the patches on, get inspired, and try and score, 1 point next game. That'd be more than what you did today. Packers moving to 2-1-1.
how do you blow out the Vikings? Like blow them out, but then lose to the Packers D, who are notoriously terrible. You can't even put like a single field goal up. Makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't know. Nothing about the Bills makes any sense. They'll probably come out next week and put a 40 spot on somebody and screw everyone over again. But it does look like there's a lot of momentum gathering against the Buccaneers. Buccaneers, hey, there's another one. My bad, bro. We hit a real rough spot here in the middle of this when it comes to us picking these games. I was all over the Bucs. I shouldn't have been. That was evident very early in the game as 38-3 at halftime. So that was over pretty quick. Famous Jameis got back in the game in the second half. He looked terrible. He looked like there were at least two guys that he didn't see. Threw 2 picks, 145 yards. Could be the end of the Fitzmagic era in Tampa.
It was fun for 2 weeks, people in Tampa that watch football, but it's over. You guys are gonna lose out. We should have known this from the beginning. Fitzmagic and his insanity was just 2 weeks of happiness, and that's it. Now it's over. We should have known better. I don't know what the fuck we were thinking.
It was exactly like Linsanity. I mean, it was 2 weeks
crazy.
and then coming back to earth. But I think we got another nominee here for the Cloud Atlas Award in Dirk Cutter.
Yeah, I don't know. This is pretty wild. I have the quote up in front of me because it's too ridiculous. I got to read it verbatim. We should fire everybody that was on the field today, starting with me. That was horrific. Now, some people might say, oh, he's honest. Oh, at least, whatever. He's a real man for saying that, But the reality is he's digging his own grave. You don't say anything. You just keep your mouth shut. And then when the upper management brings you in the next day, you just say, yeah, that was Jameis's fault. It's called self-preservation, buddy. And just fucking do it. Don't put yourself out there. Don't put your neck out there because nobody's going to put your neck out for you, Dirk Cutter. That was
I'll tell you what, I put some money on I put a futures bet on Dirk Cutter to be the first coach fired, and I was worried there for a while. But now we are trending safely into where I'm starting to feel pretty good about that. I couldn't agree more, obviously, because that benefits me. And I don't think Buccaneers fans would disagree. Bears 48, Bucks 10 at the end of this thing. Mitch Trubisky, he went 6/7 of a Foles through 6 touchdown passes, almost hit that record. Time with Peyton and Nick. Couldn't get there, but 354, 6 touchdowns. You're loving him on your fantasy team. I wouldn't get too excited, but I got a feeling that this is just another example of, hey, we're really glad that John Fox isn't the coach here anymore.
Right. This is just a John Fox confusion thing going on right here because Mitch Trubisky, I don't care if you score 6 touchdowns or 7 touchdowns. I don't believe it. I'm not a believer because your defense is the reason that you're in this game.
Are you buying Bears stock right now?
I'm buying Bears stock.
Do you think that they've got a chance to win this division?
The Vikings, man. Vikings, they were the number 1. I thought they were going to take it, and they've been a little shaky. I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility to think that the Bears might be able to squeak into the playoffs this season. They've been playing good. They got Khalil Mack, this strange person that came out of nowhere that nobody ever thought was going to be a good defensive player. That's why he was traded. Why else would you trade him if you knew what he really was?
That guy he's pissed off. He's pissed off, and he's a hell of a football player. I'm glad I don't have to line up against him or really any other NFL player. Like even the replacement level players would flatten me, but him in particular.
You could probably take Danny Woodhead.
I don't know.
To get lucky to pop him in the carotid real quick.
He's got that low center of gravity, though. He would just steamroll right through you.
Yeah, but I'm saying like Danny Woodhead, like how he's injured most of the time, he comes up to you with like a cast, and you just kind of like do some lateral movements, and he falls to the ground, and you just kind of like, rear naked chokehold him.
I mean, in a fight, I'm just saying I don't think I could tackle Danny Woodhead. Like, in one of those American Gladiator situations, I don't think that I'm scoring any touchdowns or like getting any of those balls in the barrel if there are any other NFL players on the field there.
If I saw you on the field, I'm sure it would pan out something like I think it was James Harrison a couple years ago when he has the ball and he's running in the air and he puts his foot out and he steps on like the Browns punter. Remember that?
Oh no, that was Antonio Brown that did that.
Oh, that
When he
Antonio
when he
Brown?
jump kicked that Browns punter.
Yeah, he just stepped on the guy's face like
Yeah,
in stride, and then the guy just kind of like just passively laid down.
I am that Browns punter. I don't know if that's the same guy or not, but I think he might be the guy that got absolutely applesauced and got his jaw broken on a punt return as well. He had a rough go of it there.
We'll have to look that up. We'll have to get back to you, but
yeah, have to look
that might be on the applesauce award next week.
Next week. Cowboys, Lions. Cowboys 26, Lions 24. This was a pretty boring game. Dak Prescott was fired up at the end of it. Zeke had a big game.
I like watching Zeke run over people. I know you're not a big fan, but when he's losing, I don't like the crop top. When he's winning and pretending to eat cereal, I love the crop top. Give me more Zeke Elliott. That man can run. I don't know what Scott Linehan was doing. Maybe he was awake this week, but that was some good play calling. It's fantastic. Zeke even had some catches to go with those runs. Very happy with how the Cowboys played. Blew everybody's mind.
Great game by the Cowboys. What I will say, did you see Golden Tate score those 2 touchdowns?
I did.
I love watching Golden Tate score a touchdown. I'm not a Lions fan. I'm not even really a Golden Tate fan. But he can't get more than 2 feet ahead of somebody without turning backwards and pinwheeling and then just kind of giving people the business as he's going into the end zone.
Yeah,
I was a huge fan of that.
I love that. I think the first one he did, he like almost stopped right outside, kind of like Deshaun Jackson style, where he kind of like
he was going to do the stop and fall back, but he didn't quite have enough time.
I'm always a little worried though, because I like that kind of razzle dazzle bullshit, but I'm always worried the refs are going to give him like a taunting call or a taunting penalty, which I think to me is so stupid. I don't like that. But I guess I do like Golden Tate.
They've been doing a good job keeping those in their pocket as far as the taunting penalties go, and the celebrations.
Just throwing flags like a stupid what is it when they've
roughing the passer
on the quarterback? Yeah, roughing the passer calls. That's just unacceptable. Need to stop.
Yeah, Edward, good transition there into ridiculous roughing the passer calls. Probably the most ridiculous one of the year. What was his name? Hicks that hit Baker Mayfield in that Raiders-Browns game. So Raiders-Browns, that went to overtime. Hey, thanks, Red Zone, for cutting me off there. So
yeah, what was that about, man? I'm trying to make America great again, dog. Jesus. It's bullshit.
They're like, hey, if you live in these areas, I'm well, I don't, thank you, but I would enjoy to see the end of this thrilling overtime game. Well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that was weird. I think it's because it hit 8:00. They're legally bound. That just goes to show you how much the NFL sucks balls. Next time we all see Roger Goodell, we need to boo that man. Not that we already don't. We need to boo him. Boo! Because that's unacceptable. You can't do that to fans. It's like they're almost racing to the bottom to deliver a crappier product every year just to make more money. Like that's just a little addendum on a contract. Just change it. If the game goes into overtime, let it run. Just let it run.
And the other thing too, that reversal of that third down play at the end of the game where they went and then they respotted the ball, that's a very rare thing to see.
Yeah, talk me through that, because I missed that, but I heard the announcers talking about that. What happened there?
Yeah, I mean, so it's third down. Browns run a play. Guy gets tackled right at the line. Initial spot is that it's good. It's a first down. At that point, all I got to do is kneel on that thing. Victory formation. They dilly. Everybody in Cleveland's having a cold one again. But they're the Browns. So, of course, that didn't happen. Went to the NFL review. They respotted the ball, fourth down. Kicked it back to the Raiders. Raiders drive right down the field in 50-some seconds. Carr, touchdown, 2-point conversion, and goes back and forth. Raiders miss that field goal in overtime, get the ball back, and then they get it back down there at the end of it to win the thing. Or so I hear, Red Zone Channel, as far as the very end of it goes. Here's my question for Hugh Jackson, Todd Haley. Hey, Nick Chubb had 3 attempts for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Give it the man.
That's like 30-some yards per attempt. Maybe give him like a couple more, and then that game doesn't end up the way that it does. Yeah, I don't get why do you limit him to 3 carries and you got old-ass Carlos Hyde just plodding around doing nothing, and you got that guy who's electric, and you keep him off the field. That's classic Browns. That's classic Hugh Jackson out-coaching himself. He's a turd. He's a dirt cutter level turd. And he's going to be out of a job pretty soon as well.
Well, I didn't even realize once I'm looking at the stats right there, that's a big deal. That's going to get the Cloud Atlas Award nomination right there because that's stupid. Just give the man the rock, especially if you're fresh like that. All it takes is a fresh body to kind of turn into like a 5-yard gain and kind of push it for another first down. Just give him the rock.
It doesn't make
Give him
any
the rock.
sense. It was a good day for Georgia running backs. Sony Michel for the Patriots had 112 yards and a touchdown, and then Chubb had a big one there for the Browns, and those 3 attempts that they saw fit to give him makes no sense to me.
Well, that's why they're the Browns.
That's why they're the Browns.
Right.
That's why they're Cloud Atlas status out there in Cleveland.
Sitting here, we're all scratching our heads. We're all confused. We're all running to Wikipedia trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, trying to make sense of it all. Speaking of confusion, Josh Rosen.
He looked confused out there at times against the Seattle defense.
Almost
Seahawks
came back though with a last minute drive. Almost did it.
Yeah, almost, but didn't. Cardinals sitting at 0-4 now. A lot of people saw them hitting the tank. I didn't think they'd be this bad. Everybody else did. That's probably my Arizona bias. They are terrible. Absolutely terrible. At least they got Rosen in there to get something out of the year, get him some reps, and, get out of this season. Another terrible NFC West game. Pretty much unwatchable football.
We talked about it last week. The Seahawks needed to win the week before against the Giants, and they needed to win this game. So right now, everybody in Seattle is high-fiving each other and circle jerking each other because they're 500. They shouldn't be 500. They should be 0-4. Pete
Carroll was chewing the hell out of that gum after Janikowski hit that winning field goal. He looked happy as hell. Those masseters flaring.
Oh, yeah. He was real excited. He spit that one out and put a new one in, put some Bubblicious in there because that was a Bubblicious
fresh one in, Pete.
Oh, yeah. That was a Bubblicious moment. Shout out to Sebastian Janikowski. I think that was a 50-yarder, 52-yarder or something like that. Either way. He still got it. Surprised he didn't have his cigarette in his mouth while he was doing it because I love seeing Sebastian Janikowski on the field. That man looks like he just woke up. He's the shit.
He is truly, we would joke about Ben Roethlisberger, and Ben Roethlisberger really is, but I guess Janikowski is probably the real Raymond Felton of the NFL. There's nothing that's not on that guy's plate at the buffet table. He's not saying, I'm limiting my carbs this week. He's going for it.
He's getting extra gravy. He's getting extra gravy on those mashed potatoes, and he's getting extra bread rolls. If they're free, he's getting extra ones. That's it.
Is there any way for me to stuff this chow mein inside of this dinner roll? No, I'll just eat them in sequence then as I carb up for tomorrow's game.
Do you guys have scones to go? Can we take some scones with us? But going back to the Seahawks, did you see that Earl Thomas? Please tell me you saw the Earl Thomas middle finger.
All right, yeah, it's a big thing to talk about there in Seattle. Earl Thomas carted off the field, and if there's anything that we know about the Seahawks and the Legion of Boom, they're all about class. They're all about just being bigger than the moment and rising above the situation. So as Earl Thomas is being carted off, I don't know who said what to him. He didn't much care for it, though, so he decided to flip everybody in the stadium and anybody who was watching at home a big old bird for about 30 seconds on his ride out on the golf cart.
Can you blame the guy, though? Can you really blame the guy? Because this is his contract.
I can blame the guy, and I'm about to.
Let's hear it.
Are you ready? So here's Earl Thomas. What that looked like a non-contact injury to me. It looked like whatever happened to him, it didn't really have much to do with football as far as somebody smashing into him.
So you're saying he's faking?
I'm not saying he's faking it. No, he's not faking anything. But who would have guessed that jumping into a Week 4 NFL game after sitting out for a couple weeks and then playing one game and refusing to practice would leave your body in a condition that would make it susceptible to injury? Well, that would be me. I would guess that. All right. So if you want to go in there with your weak ass body, haven't fucking played any football for the last month, everybody else there has gotten the reps, they're all hardened up. Yeah, you're going to give out at the end of the game and shit's going to go on you. It's on you, Earl. That's who it's on. It ain't on Pete. It's not on Schneider. It's not on anybody else. This is on you.
So he has nobody to be mad at but himself.
Nobody to be mad at but himself and everybody that he's flipping off. Apparently, I don't know what he's got against those people, but people are going to say, oh, this is why they do this. This is why you hold out. and I get that, but he's still going to make $8-10 million this year, sitting waiting for his ACL to recover. Yeah, is he going to get a smaller contract on the back end of this? Of course he was, but that's more of a reflection of the safety market bottoming out than Earl Thomas being able to play football. I mean, Eric Reed just signed with the Panthers, and I think he only signed for like $1 million or $2 million, and that guy can play football. So the money's just not out there.
Yeah, the money's not there.
He's never there. And then on the back end of it, everyone's going to blame whatever happened today on that situation.
Well, I'm a stupid millennial, so I only understand things in victimhood. So I'm going to acknowledge what you say as fact, but I'm going to take the flip side and play the victim here and jump on the Earl Thomas bandwagon. This is why you hold out. This is why you hold out,
but there's also a reason that you fucking practice, Earl, so you can condition your body and withstand the rigors of an entire NFL game. So I'm not going to hear that shit. I'm not going to hear it. It's like, get your ass on the practice field, get some reps, and then you won't fall apart like a cheap suit at the end of the fourth quarter. Like that's the reality of it, Earl.
Well, what do you think about him sitting out for the whole year?
Well, he is going to do that now. That's what
he's saying beforehand. Beforehand,
if he would have pulled Le'Veon Bell, then do that. That's your prerogative.
Done. So you're saying
here's the difference between Le'Veon Bell and Earl Thomas. So Earl Thomas is under contract. Le'Veon Bell is not under contract. He's been tendered with the franchise tag that he's under no obligation to sign. Earl Thomas has a pre-existing multi-year contract that he thinks he's outplayed. Well, hey, dumbass, don't sign such a long contract where you're going to outplay it and be undervalued and then do that sort of stuff. I get it. You're not happy, but dude, you're the one that signed it, not me.
Facts, Bobby Fever.
Facts. Those are facts, everybody.
Those are facts. That's an opinion I haven't. That's an opinion that I haven't heard, but you're making a lot of sense. But again, I'm a millennial, so I'm gonna go home later. I'm gonna turn up some Linkin Park in the end. I'm gonna sit in my corner and I'm gonna light a candle for Earl Thomas because in the end,
candle for Earl Thomas, for Chester.
In the end, it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter. But here's the deal. I'm gonna get back on this thing though. I am for whatever Le'Veon Bell's doing because he doesn't work for any NFL teams. He's a hostage to an archaic bullshit franchise tag deal. He's not under contract. He doesn't play for the Steelers. He doesn't fucking play for anybody, so he doesn't have to show up to work anywhere. Earl Thomas, he used to at least. I don't know what the injury is like, but he used to play for the Seahawks. All right, man? So get your ass in there, go to practice. Maybe you don't shred that thing. Who knows? On the next game here, Chargers. Hey, they beat the woeful 49ers, 29-27. I'll tell you what, all 15 fans at StubHub, they were pretty damn excited to see that going on. They were tearing that place apart.
I couldn't even pay attention to what was going on in the game because I was so confused about the square jutting out of the end zone. I'm like, what is that? That can't possibly be a soccer field goalie thingy. And it was. That's exactly what it was. And I couldn't keep my eyes off that thing. So when Antonio Gates was getting blocked and held and all this crap, the referees were missing calls because they were just as confused as I was. They were like, is this a fucking soccer game or is this a football game? They were just as confused as me.
Oh, going back to shitty stadiums real quick. We got a dark horse for our Reading Potter Award, our Shit Talk Award of the week. And that actually goes to my old lady who we're watching the game and she's in there waiting for me to move out and start, doing this bullshit with you. And she comes in and at the end of it was that is either a 2-point conversion or the touchdown pass that got thrown by the Raiders at the end of the fourth quarter. What is his name? Kenny Albert. I think Kenny Albert was on the call, and he says, a touchdown in the corner of the end zone. My wife's like, / home plate. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, why is there field dirt? This is ridiculous.
It is. I was like, at least spray paint it fucking green. You know what I mean?
The other thing I read there that was funny was, or they were saying that was funny was that Gruden came back because he loves Oakland and he wants to make them better or whatever. I was like, whoa. What do you mean he loves Oakland? He's at the wrong franchise if he loves Oakland because they're out of there in 2 years, man. They are dropping trowel, steaming on the chests of all the Raiders fans in the Oakland area, and then they're jetting to Vegas, man.
They're going to Vegas, bro.
You're doing this for Oakland. You're doing this for the wrong reasons, John.
Yeah, you got to
doing
go
this
to
for
like
the wrong reasons.
being an
But hey,
assistant
we did
coach
get to settle that math equation now, though. So it's $100 billion per win if you're
Right.
hiring John Gruden at this point.
Yeah, that's terrible math, terrible business decisions right there, but a terrible win for the Raiders too. That was an absolute shit show. I can't. Well, we already talked about that game, didn't we? We already talked
Yeah,
about
we
it.
already talked about that. We kind of jetted back to that out of order.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. We got a couple more to go here. Let's talk about the Saints and the Giants.
Let me
Saints
ask you a question
33.
before we move forward. Niners, Chargers, CJ Beathard got his ass knocked out. And then this new dude walks in at like 3rd and 2 in the red zone. Why did they run the ball when the entire defense knew they were going to run the ball? Why do teams do that?
I don't know. I mean, why does, Kyle Shanahan, he's had some shoddy play calling here and there in pressure situations. I can't think of another one off the top of my. Oh, wait, that's right. Yeah, it was a Super Bowl 28.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So there are times when he will kind of go off the rails there and cream his own pants and say, I don't know what I'm doing here. Apparently what happened is that quarterback hasn't been in the system long enough. It takes 2 years to learn how to do anything in Kyle Shanahan's system. So that's got to be the issue with the Niners. I will say whoever that guy was that hit
good hit
Beathard.
It's a good hit.
Yeah. I mean, he's who was that guy? Let's see here.
I don't know, some tall.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy was, but he's got to be on the short list for the applesauce. It was number 26. It was Casey Hayward Jr., the Chargers there. So Casey, great hit there. We're going to put you on the short list for that applesauce award.
I was waiting for the flag too. I'm like, they're going to flag this guy for like the most textbook hit ever, but they didn't. So refs, you actually get a good one on that one. Good job, guys.
Way to go, guys. Saints at the Giants. This went as I predicted. Saints 3-1. 33-18. Giants fall to 1-3.
Giants suck this year, man. They play shit.
Giants suck every year. I don't know if you've been keeping track of that or not, but that Gruden number, $100 million per win, is about to be like an Eli Manning number because he's not fucking getting anything done. Barkley, I mean, 10 attempts, 44 yards. That's not a good game. Kamara had a good game. He had 134 with 3 touchdowns. That's a good game.
See, I was wrong about this game. I thought the Giants were going to have an opportunity here to capitalize on a shaky Saints defense, and I was completely wrong because the Giants should be putting up more points than 18. That's unacceptable.
That is unacceptable, particularly, like you said, against the Saints D. They've been leaking like a sieve all year long, but they got their shit. Eli Manning is like the get-right guy for any defense that's struggling. You love seeing Eli over there with his noodle arm just lobbing the ball down the field. Speaking of Mannings and noodle arms, did you see Peyton Manning at that University of Tennessee game?
No, I didn't.
So he was at the Vols game. Vols were at Georgia. I'm trying to – oh, yeah, that's right. They lost again because they always lose. That's 11 straight losses for the Vols. And, those Vols fans are more deflated than my recently neutered dog's nutsack. They are just breathing in water, drowning in their own shit, and deservedly so.
Yeah, they
suck. Know that, Tennessee. You're all scum. You're all garbage. Just keep living in the filth that you deserve because they are getting shit on by the football gods. Did you see that play last week against Florida where the guy was running towards the end zone and then managed to punch the ball out of his own hand?
Yeah, he dropped it.
Fumbled it out of the end zone.
Yeah, that was turnover number 4 of like the 7 turnovers they had that game.
Yeah, that's the football gods coming back at you for accusing a man of pedophilia who had nothing to do with anything. And then, of course, in this game,
are angry gods. They're
angry gods.
They are angry gods.
So the Fromm gets stripped at about the 30-yard line. So the guy on Georgia who lets the blocker by turns around. Fromm gets strip sacked. Ball just bounces on the ground right back up to him. He picks it up, runs it in for 30 yards for the touchdown. And I'm just like, yeah, fuck you, Tennessee. You deserve every little bit of this. It was great. It was fantastic. Whenever I love Jimmy Haslam. I'm glad he had a terrible weekend. He's a notorious Tennessee benefactor. Why wouldn't he be one of the most terrible people in the NFL?
Jimmy.
Yeah, hey, Jimmy, did you donate some of that $53 million that you stole from everybody at the University of Tennessee, you fucking fraud? You are garbage, and no wonder you're associated with the University of Tennessee and the Cleveland Browns. No mistake that both of those franchises are struggling.
This has been a Bobby Fever happiness moment. Brought to
but
you
here's
by Bobby Fever.
yeah, no, but here's the thing I was trying to get to is Peyton Manning was wearing a Tennessee hat on the sideline, right? And it
Like an
was
extra large hat.
It was that's what my wife said. She's like, "Is he going to have a giant red mark on his forehead when he takes that thing off?"
Oh, nice.
But it was, I couldn't tell if it was the hat or, like you said, his extremely bulbous head. But it looked like somebody sent him like he called his agent and he said, "Hey, I'm going to the Tennessee game," and then somebody sent him a giant Manila envelope full of like sideline passes, and then squished within that envelope was the world's worst Tennessee hat. And he just takes it out and slaps it on his head and sits over there looking like a goober the entire game. And then of course they interview him and he's talking about
awesome.
how
He's
talking about how, hey, we got a long way to go here, but I love the direction of things. I don't think you do, Peyton. I don't think that you do.
That's the PR moment. That's the PR moment. That's what he was saying, that he had the same look on his face, I'm sure, when Papa John's was coming out saying the N-word. He had to back up Papa, at least for the brief.
Yeah. I'm not actually that close with Papa John Shatner. He and I are not. But Peyton, he was hugging you 2 seconds after the Super Bowl victory. Before your wife could even hug you. You tell me you're not that close with him. Who are we talking about again? Papa John? Oh yeah,
we're acquaintances. We had
heard of him.
We had some business prior in years past, but very nominal communications, very small communications.
Yeah, Peyton needs to move a few more pizzas, sell a few more Buicks, so he can get himself a better hat while he's watching the Volunteers get steamrolled in their next SEC game. I think they're playing Auburn next weekend, so that 11-game losing streak that should continue.
12, yeah,
much to my delight. My delight.
We were talking about Peyton Manning just real quick before we move on to something more important. The Peyton Manning forehead memes like online are always classic. I saw one when they were talking about how big the hurricane was. Remember Hurricane Florence a couple of weeks back? It had like a thing and it said, just so you guys know, just so you know how big this hurricane is, we've developed this image, and this image is going to help you understand how big this hurricane is. It's like a picture of like Peyton Manning in like a 2013 like Broncos jersey, and like just a crudely pasted like picture of a hurricane on his forehead, and it was pretty funny.
When I was in the Marine Corps, we had one of the guys who was one of our boots. So a boot is a guy who's like junior to you. He's like a fresh guy, hasn't seen the rigors of armed combat yet, so you think very little of them, and you shit on them at your own pleasure, at your own delight, as much as you see fit. And this guy Smith, he had a wife who had an extremely large forehead. All right? And so I didn't really know her very well, but the other boots that were his peers, they were well aware of this. They knew her, and they were constantly shitting on this person. And the favorite thing that I heard them arguing about, so these two guys are arguing, they're like, man, that bitch doesn't have a forehead. She's got like a 5 head. And then another guy's like, oh, you got a 6 head, man. Like, how Bush got a 5 head, 6 head? I don't know, but that's Peyton. He's got a solid like 6, 7 head. Yeah, he doesn't have a forehead.
It doesn't make sense. If you look at his pictures, like when he started at Tennessee, his forehead has almost like doubled in size.
Well, here's a hot take though. I don't want to make any accusations that other media outlets have already made.
Are we going full tinfoil hat right now?
I'm saying these are just facts that are out there. All right, so I'm just gonna reiterate some facts that are already out there. So there was the Ashley Manning thing where there was some HGH conversation. All right,
wasn't conversation. Didn't she order it?
Well, I mean, I don't know the specifics of that, so I can't speak to it. But all I'm going to say is that word came up in conjunction with him. Now,
okay.
All I'm going to say is look at a picture of Barry Bonds back in 1988, and then look at a picture of Barry Bonds hitting 71 home runs. All right. It's a different man, but it's a completely different head. He went from wearing like a size 7.25 baseball cap to like an 8 2/3 special order, and I gotta think that that's related to it. So I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm not saying his head even got any bigger. Maybe we just is a perception thing with the HD TV. We couldn't actually get a grasp of how big Peyton's head was initially. But all I do know is that I saw Barry Bonds' head volume double over the course of a decade with consistent HGH abuse.
I just Googled it. That is round.
It's a big head. I mean, it's a big head. So I'm not against that. I love human extremes. I love anybody pushing their body to the limits. That's not my heart attack to have at age 43, but I'm a big fan of anyone who's willing to go all out.
Yeah, I know a lot of people get really upset about like supplements and all that type of stuff. They should make supplements mandatory. I know they did like a Futurama episode back in the day when Futurama like just come out, like maybe early 2000s, and they were watching. I guess the main characters were all watching baseball, and I guess one of them said, "Yeah, this is the stats, like but before the mandatory steroids." And then all the baseball players on the field were all like huge and like throwing shit. It was kind of cool. I was kind of, yeah, you know what? They should allow them to just use steroids. Who cares?
I mean, I haven't watched baseball for about 15 years since they took the steroids out of the game. But I miss a roided up Roger Clemens trying to dust off Mark McGwire and then throwing pieces of a bat at everybody because he's raging and everything. Yeah. That's when baseball was baseball. Now you can't even hit a home run and kind of flip your bat at anybody without people making a stink about it.
Well, you can get that same testosterone HGH feeling if you watch tennis, if you watch Serena Williams play, man, because that chick, she is on something. She's having a little bit of a roid rage moment. That Portuguese dude at the U.S. Open, dude, she was freaking out. She had no control.
She was raging on that guy. I saw something where PFT from Pardon My Take, he said something about because she was pregnant at one of these events, it was unfair because she was blood doping because she had higher levels of other things in her system. True. And that was actually an athletic advantage. I think someone came out and verified that independently. I don't know anything about
you don't know anything about
medicine
or anything. You don't know anything about
I don't know much about that. I'll tell you what I do know. I do know Mike Zimmer. Oof. You better possums and raccoons stay off the road again on the way home from the airport because that Escalade ain't slowing down.
Yeah, that was
Rams 38, Vikings 31. Rams moved to 4-0. They look like the cream of the crop in the NFC.
We were just talking about that. We were just saying Jared Goff, that he's holding him back. I think we said that how there's a podcast out there that was saying that Jared Goff is holding them back and it would be a better team if they had,
That was a very poorly timed Bill Barnwell article. He was trying to elucidate the fact that Jared Goff is pretty much expendable, and when the time comes, you should get rid of him. And then that same day, he throws for 465 yards, 5 touchdowns. I'm not saying he's expendable.
Played a damn good game.
But I'm not saying he's not either.
One game isn't a good
but that's a hell of a game.
That was a hell of a game against a pretty good Vikings defense. And if you
are they good though?
Well,
are they good? The Vikings D? I mean, the Bills hung 30 some on them. Somebody else scorched them. I know they used to be good.
They tied the Packers. They lost to the Bills. They lost to the Rams. Game 1, I forget who they played. Maybe the Redskins. Some shit.
That doesn't matter.
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But
maybe the Vikings D isn't as good as they were projected at the beginning of the season. Maybe I'm just remembering how they were doing last season. But you got to give a round of applause to all the fantasy players out there that wisened up and started Cup, 162 yards, 2 touchdowns. So like those couple peoples to the fantasy football gods, they were praying the night before, putting those palms together, and he delivered and he answered. Because that dude put up.
I saw some tweet. It was like 2 TDs, 1 cup. Yeah, so that was all right. Yeah, it's like it's a reference to some sort of disgusting video that nobody ever.
I just saw it like a couple months ago. I had to rewatch it. I had my buddy and his girl over. We rewatched it, and it was as disgusting as I remembered it.
Yeah, no, to recycle that back into the.
The only thing I really wanted from that was I needed a new ringtone, and And I'm like, yeah, I've been meaning to get a new ringtone. And I wanted the song.
Oh, okay.
You know, like
I'm actually
the
not
song?
familiar with every beat of that video.
Once you hear the song, you'll remember. It's like that commercial, like growing up, like the AC commercial.
Yeah, it's like that whoever that company was, they used to be like, we don't make a lot of the products you buy. We make a lot of the products you buy better. Do you remember them? They used to run fucking ads all the time.
I don't remember, but when I hear an ad, it's crazy how your mind works, right? You'll hear an ad and you're like, oh fuck, I remember it verbatim.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's hand out our Week 4 NFL awards. We're going to start off with the Randy Marsh Award. So this is given to the person or team who lays the biggest turd of the week. So people on the list here, nominees, we got the NFL review team at the end of the Browns-Raiders game. That was terrible. We got Greg Williams, defensive coordinator of the Browns, giving up 42 points. The reason I single out Greg here is I'm trying to get some animosity going between him and Todd Haley so we can see that Week 7 fist fight on the sideline. It's coming, people, because they keep losing these games, and they keep losing them in a way where you can point fingers at the other side of the ball. Yeah. And Todd Haley's not going to take that shit from Greg Williams. Greg's not going to take it from Todd, and eventually they're going to come to blows.
That was this game. This game did not help their relationship.
It did not. And then we got Phil Dawson. He's a Cardinals kicker, so he whiffed on that field goal right before Janikowski took it down there. Yep. Really showed his ass. And then, of course, we got the Miami Dolphins. I don't know if we can really include the Dolphins in this one because that was so expected. And then I'm going to throw a secret nominee in here. I'm going to throw Earl Thomas in there for the Randy Marsh Award. Maybe if you practice a little bit, that doesn't happen to you. I'm just going to throw that out there.
How are we determining the winner? Just you? Just calling
you and me. Let's talk it out. Who's going to win this thing? If I'm going to vote for somebody, I'm going to vote for that NFL review crew. That was bullshit. Keep out of the game. That game was over. Should have been a Browns win.
Should have been a Browns win.
It's not. So I'm not feeling bad for anybody in Cleveland, but as far as it goes, NFL review crew, you're getting the Randy Marsh Award out there in New York City. Award here. Who do you got? Who you got on that? You got any disputes
I'm with
there?
you, buddy. I'm with you. I got to agree on that. Anything the NFL does that delivers a shittier product, I get pissed off sometimes when I'm watching this game, and it's almost like watching a movie and listening to the Wilhelm scream. You're watching like a movie and you hear the ah! And you're like, oh, that's right. I'm watching a movie. I should be absorbed out of what I'm doing. It's kind of the same thing when you have all this momentum going and it changes the momentum of a game, like some kind of call that
didn't just change the momentum, it changed the outcome very specifically.
That's what I'm saying. It'll change the result, like you said, very specifically. And I hate that. That ruins the game. It keeps delivering a shittier product. If they keep doing that, they're going to keep losing viewers. NBA, man, NBA's got plenty of followers, has a lot of momentum. You're going to see a lot of these NFL fans gravitate away from the NFL and towards the NBA. And then the worst thing that could possibly happen is NFL fans leaving the NFL
No. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't say it. Don't say it. You shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
We don't say it. I won't say it.
We don't use 6-letter words like that on our pod. We don't use that.
I won't say it, but if it happens, all I need to say is
get your vuvuzelas out, everybody. Oh God, I hope that never happens.
Yeah, but
moving on here. Let's go ahead and hand out the Cooler Award. So it's obviously a reference to Patrick Swayze's character in Roadhouse when he rips that one dude's throat directly out of his body. Great movie. Great moment in movie history.
Roadhouse.
And if we got somebody ripping people's throats out, I got to go, believe it or not, Marcus Mariota. I can't think anybody else who had a dagger moment like he did with that touchdown to Davis.
That was the best touchdown of the weekend. That was killer. Against a good team. Well, yeah. Supposedly a good team.
Supposedly a good team.
Shit today.
Supposedly a good team. Yeah, I got to think that maybe they'd be a little bit better off with someone else at quarterback, but that's not my job. That's Doug Peterson's job to think of who should be starting there. So let's go ahead. We're going to hand out the golden throat to Marcus Mariota. He is the winner of this week's Cooler Award. My bad, bro. All right, so we had some bad advice for our listeners in Sweden. I hope you're not betting American dollars on these games, because we steered you wrong in a few places at Buffalo. God damn it. Why you keep doing this to me? You keep making me look foolish.
That was you. That's just you being stupid and uneducated. I think the one that you and me both did together as a team, we suck, is hitching our wagons to the Bucks. That was just
yeah.
I don't know what we were thinking. We should have never done that. The Bucks.
Did we forget that Dirk Cutter was still the coach there for a few minutes?
Dirk
I think
Cutter's
that we
still the
did.
coach, and we also remember that Ryan Fitzpatrick is still their quarterback. And then the worst thing of all is that they have a backup quarterback, and the backup quarterback is named Jameis Winston. We forgot that's a perfect storm right there.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that coming. God damn, I didn't see that.
I didn't see either of those guys.
2 interceptions on his return. So my bad.
In a half as well in the second half.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, just 2 measly quarters. My bad, bruh.
2 measly quarters. That's our bad. Don't listen to us ever again if we try and support the Buccaneers. That'll be your cue to bet all you have against our recommendations. But hey, you're welcome on these ones, though. Pats -7 over the Dolphins.
We knew that. Easy.
We knew that. We saw that coming. Dolphins have been faking it all year. There was no way, absolutely no way, they were going into Foxborough and they were getting a win there. They got smoked. Hey, Josh Gordon, we didn't talk about him at all. He had a couple moments. He's getting me excited.
First catch for 13
yards. He's going to be that guy that they can.
And a first down. He's a big player.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be that guy where I feel like if they put him right next to Gronk, you know those goal line plays where they're always splitting Gronk out wide? If they put Gordon right next to him, you can't double both of those guys. They're too big. They're too strong.
Yes.
And then they got Edelman back next week. They're going to have his little ass sneaking around everywhere.
You're going to have
Pat's offense is about to get dangerous.
You're going to have Gronk, Hernandez, Welker combo. Of course, Hernandez is no longer playing in the NFL, nor is he around anymore.
He's dead.
He's somewhere else. But going back to that, they're just going to have that.
Hey, heaven's got another angel when it comes to that.
It's got another angel.
Heaven's got another angel.
But going back to that, you're going to have that trifecta on the, like you said, on the goal line, spreading that defense out. That's what Josh Gordon is.
And you got Michelle coming into form. It's dangerous. I still worry about their defense, but Pats, they look like they've righted this ship.
They've won with a shitty defense. So
yeah, they're used to that. They're used to cobbling that together, one slow white guy at a time. They'll get it done somehow.
They'll get it done.
We don't know how. Let's move on here. We got the Tanaka Award for the biggest marbles of the week. Really only 2 people to consider here. We got Mike Vrabel, coach of the Titans, Mad Mike Vrabel. He crazy Doug Peterson by going for that 4th down in overtime. Worked out for him.
For the win.
Frank Reich, it didn't work out for Frank, but it was the same move. And Vrabel's going to get the love. So I'm going to give, for my part, I'm going to give Frank Reich the award.
Well, I guess with that being said, I'll give Vrabel the award.
Okay. Well, let's see.
Split it right down the middle.
Let's go ahead and flip the coin here. Oh, coins with me. All right. Tiebreaker for the coin.
I can confirm, though. That's bullshit. That's some insider trading shit right there. How do I know that was really what you – whatever.
Yeah, I didn't even flip the coin there. I just hit the table because I couldn't find the coin. I couldn't find the coin. So, yeah, that was some insider trading. But either way, maybe we'll send out a couple of those that award's probably got to be that nutsack that hangs on the back of your Chevy underneath your Calvin pissing on the Ford logo sticker and all that other. I know your what are those things? It was coal rollers. Have you seen coal rollers? Do you know what that is?
What's that? No.
They're these giant smokestacks that people put on their trucks to make them pollute more.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you're in Florida. There's got to be one of those every 8 cars driving down the 95. It's got to be everywhere.
You're driving in Florida, enjoying the weather. Your windows are down. And then you see in front of you, you're like, oh, my God, that's a lifted Tacoma. Why is that Tacoma lifted? Oh, God.
There's no reason to lift that Tacoma. What's going on here?
There's 0 elevation. Why is this thing lifted? Oh, God, it's a green light. Oh, God, now there's black shit coming off of this car. Oh, God, now my car is filled with black fumes. That's the sequence of events.
That's how that all goes down. So we'll split that up. We'll send one of those tailgate nutsacks to both of those guys. Let's move on here. My 2 favorite awards of the week here at the end. We got our applesauce award. So this is giving a guy hit someone so hard he's going to be eating applesauce for the next week and perhaps beyond.
It has to be the guy who hit Josh Rosen. Or not Josh Rosen, Beathard. It's got to be that guy.
We got a couple other ones here. So we had HaHa Clinton Dix. I don't know if you saw that in the Packers-Bills game.
No.
So he came in, long pass by Josh Allen that got picked off, obviously. He picked the ball off and then simultaneously applesauced Kelvin Benjamin into a transic state, and then just grabbed the ball and left Benjamin in a crumpled heap. And I do believe in his post-game interview, Benjamin, he blamed Cam Newton for that hit. I don't know how. He worked it in there. He said something about Cam Newton. And he's like, man, if it hadn't been for Cam, no way. Ha picks that ball off, even though Josh Allen's the one that threw it. So there's one guy. And then we also had Kerryon Johnson. I don't know if you saw that. Lions running back towards the goal line there. He trucked this Cowboys guy, Heath, whoever that guy is, Jeff Heath. Just trucked him, put him down, and then scored a touchdown right on top of him. Kerryon Johnson went off to the end zone. Jeff Heath went off to the concussion protocol. So that was a big moment for the Lions in that one. And then, of course, we got the Chargers guy, Casey Hayward Jr., who applesauced Beathard. So those are all worthy candidates. And if I'm looking at this, I'm going to go with Clinton Dix because he was able to simultaneously knock a man unconscious and pick off a pass.
That sounds more incredible than anything. Just that alone, that he could also, score the touchdown on that end. But the only one that I saw of those three is the CJ Beathard hit. And that was a perfectly executed hit. Shoulder pad right into the chest. And right after the man sat down, put his head down, and you could tell his ankles were just moving ever so softly. So that was a great hit. No flag. He's getting my nomination.
He's getting that nomination. Let's go ahead and flip the coin here again. Oh man, coins with me again. Coins with me again. Dix. Yeah, he's really coming to line. He knows where his bread is buttered. Now, last award of the week, the Reading Potter Award. Like we said, this is in reference to 50 Cent's legacy of shit talk when it comes to Floyd Mayweather. So this is our best shit talk and or taunt of the week. Now, my nominees for this are Golden Tate for his double end zone backward touchdown taunts. Love those. Way to go, great. Golden. I got my wife for shitting on the Raiders playing surface is at the end zone / home plate. And then let's be real here. This is a one-man award. That's going to be Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas giving the finger on his way being carted out. I think he's by far and away my runaway favorite.
There's nothing, if it's really kind of childish, for me, those are always the best. And fart jokes are always funny. Goofy shit like that. Poop jokes are great. And giving the finger like it's second grade, that's a classic. So Earl Thomas, very mature review. You get my nomination.
All right, Earl Thomas in a landslide takes home this week's Reading Potter Award with a big fuck you. That's my wife screaming. She's like, I can't believe I lost. Oh, come on, man. Sorry, bring it harder next time. Bring the heat. Bring the heat if you must. So
that's awesome.
Let's close it up here. We got the Ravens at the Steelers. We're taping this. We got 5 minutes left in that thing in the first half. Ravens are up 14-6. So we'll see how that all plays out. I'm sure Joe Flacco will let everyone down here soon enough. And then tomorrow night, Monday night game, we got the Chiefs. Pat used to buy weed from that guy Mahomes. He's on fire. He's going up against the Broncos. Broncos have a home game there. Case Keenum. Yeah, we'll see how that goes, Case. I got a feeling that old Patty Mahomes is going to get the better of Case Keenum and the Broncos.
Pat Mahomes is not going to lose that game. Barring injury, they're going to get pretty far into the playoffs.
Broncos are only getting 3.5 at this point. Get your wallets out and put some money on that thing right now before that line goes up. That's half a Patty Mahomes touchdown. That's it. That's all they're getting, half a Patty Mahomes touchdown. He's got 10 more touchdown passes in Case Keenum does. That's 3 extra touchdown passes a week.
Don't forget,
compared to what Case Keenum's doing.
5 less interceptions.
And 5 less interceptions. So you do the math on that. That's about a 20-point swing just at the quarterback position. And then you got regular season Andy, who's on point against Vance Joseph, who's just happy his name's not Dirk Cutter, so people don't realize what a terrible coach he is. But we'll see. Wheels are coming off the Broncos. The Broncos are with the Dolphins in the I'm faking it category, and they're going to have to start paying the price for that.
I'm no Nostradamus, but we're going to talk to you guys next week. And the Year Welcome Award is going to be the Chiefs stomping on the Broncos. So you're welcome.
Yeah, stay away from the over-under there. It's a 54.5. I mean, the Chiefs' defense is terrible, but
I know you don't like going for
count
the
them.
under, but that's an under I would take.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that the one under that we were all over was that Jets-Jaguars game, and I think that got away at the end there. I think that was a 39-point under. That hit 43.
Gosh.
I was on the Falcons and Bengals over, though, and that was an easy one. But that's the way it goes. Week 4 in the NFL is all wrapped up. PG, any closing thoughts?
What else is there to say, man? Football was good this weekend. Can't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a great game. And, I always love midseason because we'll finally see which teams we can, start ignoring. Like the Texans, they're on my ignore list. Actually, no, they're on the bury list.
We're gonna start handing out some shovels here with the Week 5 preview. Hey, go ahead and reach out and grab one. Everyone in Arizona, everyone in Detroit, you got one coming your way. The Bills. Let me give this thing back to you. I think we gave it to them already, and we kind of took it back. We're gonna go ahead and give it back to you so you can start digging that grid because your season's pretty much dead.
Niners, we got a bunch of shit to talk about. The Niners, you got both New York teams. It's Lions. We thought the Cowboys were going to be holding strong to this shovel, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Jason Garrett is still around for some reason, and he could stick around for more time. So
he had a shit-eating grin on the end of his face at the end of that one on his way out to shake Patricia's hand.
He
looked like a kid who stole something.
Sean Payton. Sean Payton had the biggest fucking grin on his face. I don't know what Pat Shurmur did to him in his past life, but Sean Payton had the biggest fucking grin on his face as the game finished up.
Sean Payton, he'll pick a fight with people, and he's a guy who I'm sure he's got a lot of grudges around the league. He's one of these Parcell guys who's not afraid to rub people the wrong way. Kind of like our boy Earl Thomas. But hey, Earl, best of you. Hope that MRI is clean. Yeah, of course, Tyler Eifert. Man, that fucking sucks. Do what you can. Take some ibuprofen, rub some dirt on it, get back out there. Best of luck to you healing up. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. Come see us again later in the week. We're going to be at you Week 5 NFL preview.